Okay, so this is my postmortem reflection, whatever you want to call it, for my legacy project of Json. Or I guess the exact wording would be my data-driven programming, just learning how to use uh, Json with saving data. So I'm just on my. This is an old project I did. It's just a quick, turn-based RPG. Move around, attack enemies, yada yada yada. We're practicing that. We're showing this off just in the gameplay scene for now, because it makes it easier. So as you can see, we have a player and an enemy in the scene. Player's health is set to 40, and our enemy's health is set to 30. But if we open this up, our JSON script, zoom in a little, set player health to 50, enemy health to 40, this will now override their health when we load into this. As you can see, enemy's health is 40 and the player's health is 50. And I believe both of their damages will be set to, I think they're still set to 5. No, they're set to 10, right. The base damage was 5, but with the new override, it's set to 10. You win, blah, blah, blah. Now, if we go back to this JSON file, where is it at? And I switch this to, just go 70, set this to 20, enemy health to 35, not 350, 35, and then their damage to 15. Save that file. Now come back to the game, load it up again. We can see that everything has changed. Health is at 35, health is at 70. If we attack them, we are doing 20 damage, they're doing 15. So, and it does work if I open up the main menu, go menu, and then play it from here. It does still work, as this is set up on my game manager in the other scene. Single player, and health and everything is saved. So, what went wrong with this project? So, I think the last time I looked at anything related to JSON, aside from just recently with a project, would have been several years ago when I was at Dalhousie taking one of their courses, which I did not do well in. So, other than that, I really don't have much experience with JSON. So, working with it here, as well as these few times we've been looking at it at the school, has been a new one for me. So I know we were asked to use a JSON serializer.deserialize for the loading the game settings in the project. When I tried to do that, it kept throwing issues at me, but the namespace didn't exist. And, when I looked at that, it told me I had to go download the namespace. When I did that and, reset the project, all that, still didn't fix the issue. Refused to get it working. So I had to try and figure out a completely different way to get this to work. In the end, I did actually manage to find it. If I go back, it is in game settings. We'll zoom out a little. This line here, JSON utility.fromJSON, which does basically the same thing, just with slightly different wording. And another thing that kind of went wrong was just trying to figure out how to create the damn JSON file. Because, since I started it just like a text document, reading it out, and then just could not figure out how to convert the document for the life of me. But I eventually did manage to find it. A lot of searching online. I found it, figured it out. Windows apparently likes to hide this stuff, so it was really hard to get. But yeah, well, all right. So I found that the old legacy project that I used actually was fairly simple to get the JSON file from my settings and that, and get it all set up once I got going. Aside from my issues that we ran into. But yeah, I didn't have too much trouble running it, getting it working, getting it connected to my different scripts and everything. And after we figured out the issues, it was not too hard to get this project going. So, what did I learn? I am learning a lot more about JSON, going through like the research and that I had to do to figure this stuff out. But it does seem to be like a nice way to store data and use it in different places. Save it for like your games, or if you want to change stats or something like that without having to go and change values in the code. It seems to be an interesting way to do it. Like, I haven't looked at any of this stuff, but it seems to be a bit simpler than modifying a ton of code. I think I could definitely see myself using it in the future for a save system, adjusting settings, or just anything else along the lines that it can be used for. And I guess something that others could learn from me. Just try and research what you're looking at first before just diving in. It can help save you from headaches later on instead of getting stuck on an issue that you don't know how to solve. And just doing research in general while you're working through a project. If you get stuck or you're not quite sure what's going on, it can be very helpful to go, start doing some research, look some stuff up online, see what other people are saying, Other people might have had similar issues that they managed to solve, and it can be very helpful to figure this sort of stuff out. This is my postmortem.